716 Radio, blazing the trails of R&B, hip hop, Afrobeat,
If you want make a ginger, give me kokoro.
and inspiration.
We got to go way up.
Volume 716 Radio, playing the best in urban and inspirational music.
You're locked into the vault with Donta Myles on Fire 716 Radio. Let's go.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Listen here, this is your boy, Donta L. Myles, a.k.a. Tank, a.k.a. D-Belly, a.k.a. your city councilman, whatever other a.k.a. there is, you know what I mean? Listen, today, before we go into, I always got to handle business, and thank you guys for your patience. Before we go into, I always got to handle my business. Let's make sure that we go to Fire 716 Radio, download that, and check it out, subscribe, check it out. Good content, especially, what I'm saying, you here with your boy D-Belly. Listen, today is a part 2 of many different parts of this series. This is engaging the youth. No longer is it okay for us to make decisions as to what we feel they should do. We already lived our youth. You know what I mean? So it's time for us to, God gave us 2 of these and 1 of these for a reason. We need to listen and watch more than we do a lot of talking. So I must flip this camera over and I'm going to let y'all know who's here. First of all, I got a special guest. This guy is such a cool dude, man. I love just solid young cats, you know what I'm saying? So it's my man Elijah Davis. So I'm gonna flip it over. What's going on, Eli, brother?
How you doing, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, tell us a little bit about yourself. Just a little.
I'm Elijah Davis. I grew up in Niagara Falls.
Mm-hmm.
I've been around for a while. It has its ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
Things keep drawing me back to the city. So I feel like as long as I'm here, I might as well contribute to the city too. So
that's it. I'm telling you. And listen, he does something that I do. He has a gift that, and it's something I love art. For a lot of y'all that know me, I'm into music, of course. I'm a musician and all that good stuff, but I also cut hair. And this guy right here, he does his thing with the clippers, you know what I'm saying? Handling your business. How long you been cutting, brother?
Honestly, I've been cutting on and off for like a little while. I cut in the Army too, so I just been on and off with it. But like seriously cutting, I started around January. So I've been doing it for a couple months.
Listen, that's crazy because man, like a few months, I seen your face, brother. I seen your business, brother. I seen what's going on. Listen, So that's a good thing, man. Entrepreneurs and people that's actually willing. That's one thing about it. I'm gonna tell you what my dad told me. He said a long time ago. He said, "Don't let a man nor any organization tell you how you're gonna feed your family, how you're gonna feed yourself." Okay. At the end of the day, it's what it is. Like, you got these hands. What you do, you picked up the craft. You learn. You know what I'm saying? Keep honing in on your craft. Make sure that you know what I'm saying, be the best at whatever it is that you do. Yes, sir. So check it. So we here in the building. We here with my man Big Frank. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So listen, today it's just a real laid back, real keep it like 100. How you doing? But let me say hellos. What's going on, Big Nick? Wendy, how y'all doing? Big E, I see you. Miss Davis, how you doing, ma'am? Let's see here. There we go. Kevin, I see you. I see you. Belinda, good morning. Good morning. Christopher, Mr. McKinney. Hey, Ma, I see you, love. All right, so the youth, man. I talk about a lot of things, from my position, from me being city council. I speak on a lot of issues that, kind of plague a lot of youth. And one thing I've learned is that, you know, and that's what I said before we got on. Let's make sure that we start changing our language.
Okay.
Our language as the elderly. I don't want to consider myself elderly. I
don't want to say that yet.
You know what I mean? I think I'm close enough to understand a lot of what you know.
The wise, man.
Right. The wise and everything, and stand and make sure that I'm able to pull from them while being able to connect with the youth.
Okay.
So it's like it's a difference. So I like to say that I'm fair in the middle ground. But one thing that I've learned is that, you know, and I'm gonna say this, and this is for the youth, man. Y'all have a voice.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have a voice. And I didn't think that I had a voice in you know, politics. You know what I mean? And my god brother, you know, he's saying Ezra. Shout out to E. How you doing on that, Pat? Shout out to E. You know, he ran, smashed it, top vote getter, landslide.
Yes, sir.
He got in position, and you know, to see someone young, you know what I'm saying, and for him to be in that space, it showed me that, like, okay, you know, an issue, because sometimes it's just, let's keep it 100. You know, that age difference when it's so far away,
they're unrelatable.
The disconnect is real.
Because the world is just steadily evolving.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like you can't, everything is changing. You know what I mean? From everything outside to like how we feel and everything, because it's two different worlds we lived in. And two different generations. So like I definitely get where like it's hard to communicate and hard to come to an agreement on one particular thing, because you see it from your eyes,
right,
from your perspective, and I might see it from another perspective. So
that's real talk. I'm gonna tell you something. Because true story. How you doing, Christine? Fatima Fridays. Listen, that was just a plug. I'll watch her Friday.
Okay.
So because the disconnect is real. Now I talked to my daughter. Now my daughter's 13, right?
Okay.
And like something as simple as the cell phone. I said, you were born into this age.
Definitely.
I said there was a level of patience that we had to have.
Yo, for real.
We had, my young age, we had these phones. Shaka.
Like the little beepers.
Yo, you remember the beepers came a little later.
Okay.
The rotary phones.
Yeah.
And let your finger slip, and you got to hang that joint up and redial the whole. Listen, right? You see what I'm saying? So, with that being said, we had that. We didn't know, we couldn't pick up a phone and find out where your boy at.
Yeah.
Yo, if you happen to leave the house and you ride by and you see they bike out in front of your boy's house, that's where they at.
Yeah.
You didn't know. And if I left home, you just didn't know where I was.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's
a whole nother world.
Different world, bro. Like, go outside and play meant something different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that was and watch this. That's me. So the boomers who are older than me, they had it even, more different. You know what I'm saying? Their level of, communication, engagement was a lot different, right? So, and here's what I'm gonna say, because I'm not a basher. Honestly, what's going on, Keita? Chris, excuse me. I do believe that they had great intentions. Honestly, I believe that they wanted to keep us protected, and some of the ways that they went about it may have been a little off kilter. But I can look at it from a perspective of, sometimes you're taught things from your predecessors, from people before you, that and when I say I'm using this out of the definition of the word, out of ignorance. They were ignorant to a lot of things. They just didn't know. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? So I don't really blame them. I don't point a finger at them and say, oh, y'all shouldn't have did this, or so on and so forth. But what I will say, and I'm gonna say this and then we can get right into it.
Yes, sir.
I will say that, I heard a lot, like from a lot of older people, that kids need to stay in the child's place. Now, listen, when it comes out, like if I'm talking grown folk talk, then my kids definitely need to go on upstairs or whatever the case is. That, however, when it comes down to our community, when it comes down to what needs to happen, y'all need to be just as engaged as everybody else.
I feel like even sometimes a little bit more, like, because like, yo, as an adult, I have kids, right? So as an adult, I realize the kids are what's important, right? Like with everything, yo. Like sometimes I'll be on my phone, I'll be like, yo, I should put my phone down and engage more with the kids that are right here, because like this is their world now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, whatever happened to me, whatever. But like, all right, it is what it is. This is a whole nother life that is literally innocent. Nothing happens. You know what I mean? They like, God gave them breath. You know what I mean? God, like, they're so innocent.
Yeah.
So it's like, why am I gonna sit here and why would I let any like irrational thoughts into their mind if I can control it?
Right.
So I feel like, basically, based off what you said, like, kids are important, the children are important, but sometimes they're even more important than we even are, because we can handle certain things. We've been bred in, like, we've grown the ability to handle certain things based off of our experiences, but they can't. So like, why don't we feed them more
when we're responsible for them?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? They're in these impressionable years of their lives. It's like, you know, we got to make sure that they understand that they have stake in what it is that's gonna their future.
Yes, sir.
So one of the things is this, and I mentioned this before, and I'm gonna keep mentioning it because it's a culture in the community that has taken place that I don't agree with. So I'm gonna keep it 100.
Come
on. When you say that the kids are they're the future, kind of like almost to the degree of sit back, we got this.
Okay.
We, you know, almost like as if you're not gonna, as if the youth isn't gonna be relevant to some other time, and they're gonna pave some way.
I get that.
Here's where my problem lies.
Okay.
You say that, they say that, and then years later we look at our community and look at the devastation and the
brittle.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then when a lot of times, and I'm not saying this to all, in regards to all, you know, older people or whatever the case is, but they'll look at the youth and point their finger at the youth and act like it's their fault. These kids need to, but hold on, wait, you made it like I wasn't even relevant. Yeah. You're supposed to be building something for me.
It's basically like sit down and shut up type of attitude.
Right. Sit down and shut up. But then when it's all bad, but it's your fault.
We can't even explain ourselves half of the time. So a lot of time we learn, like, yo, for me growing up, I had to learn life. I wasn't really taught life. I had to learn life. And it's like a lot of times the sit down and shut up attitude, it's like, all right, we're only speaking because we want to know what's going on too. We're only speaking because we want to get a feeling of the situation too. So that's why a lot of times kids speak out of turn, but they want to know what's going on too.
Right.
So like when you have that sit down and shut up attitude, it's like now as a young kid, I have to go out and learn something that I was blocked off from as a child. So now I have to go out and learn it. And obviously I must, like, anything you do, from walking to anything, like from a baby, when you're walking, you're gonna fall, you're gonna stumble. So, like, in our system, and especially in our system, stumbling is very difficult for, like, I don't want to say a minority. It's very difficult to stumble in our shoes, because when we stumble, we don't just fall and get back up. A lot of times we support to pick us back up.
Right.
So it's like stumbles are really hard to take.
Right.
In our generation.
Right.
So.
That's a fact. That's an absolute fact. And I think that's one of the main things that I would want changed.
Okay.
I can't change. Now, I'm not gonna sit up here and play the game and act like, you know, I can change this or whatever, because it's gonna take a collective effort.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna take my generation, the boomers, and the young people. You know what I'm saying? The millennials, the Gen Zs. It's gonna take all of us as a collective, and we got to stop being blinded by a whole bunch of extra stuff exterior, because it's a lot
real,
of
man. Like, yo, this phone, yo,
man.
That literally, the phone controls everything, man. Nowadays, man, like, yo, I realize even with myself, man, like, yo, like 90% of my time I'm on the phone, and I got this thing where I listen to a lot of music, and like music controls who you are too, in a way. It's feeding you, you know what I mean? Whatever. I think I seen something was like the law of attraction, but something, it's not really necessarily that, but something about it, like whatever's in your subconscious, will like soon like pour out. You know what I mean? So it's like I got this music playing in my subconscious. I had to stop listening to a lot of music just so I can like let new things enter that are, you know, good. So.
No, absolutely. And what happens is we got so We got so caught up on social media, phone, and everything like that, where we lose touch of the natural connection.
Yes, sir.
The natural ability of connecting. My big thing right now, and I'm gonna push hard.
Okay.
I'm gonna push hard, and I'm gonna say this nice and loud for everybody because, again, you know, until the Niagara Falls Housing Authority shows me any different on this side of town,
okay,
I want a true rec center. Real Rex. I'm talking about something that, like, where a mass of young could come and really kind of interact and engage and just, like, on a positive level.
Okay.
With other things, I want it to be in a space that's expandable.
Yeah.
You feel me? Expandable. Something that, okay, we can start off with just a rec center. Put a couple TVs on the wall, some couches, whatever. Something where y'all can kick it back and y'all can, However, we want to be able to, like we've been talking about it here, state of the art. Now, this is gonna be, and that's the beautiful part about it. Fire 716 is gonna be Fire 716, and it's gonna hold it down until the day boxes start dropping. You know what I'm saying? Keep it 100. But the level of expansion, being able to create room for the youth to be educated in that space, even if it takes, like, classrooms where different people who understand this and that have that degree and that knowledge to do so, that could possibly teach and certify.
Okay.
And certify and get y'all, like, get young cats that's already into this. They already on the phone, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, let's give you a space. So what happens now? I'm tapping where you are. I'm not telling you what I think you should do, what I think you should be. I'm like, I'm gonna reach you where you are. Now COVID helped us come. Well, not us, because I was kind of already engaged in it anyway. But a lot of the older people, COVID helped a lot of them kind of have to meet y'all where y'all at, because guess what? If y'all want to go to church, y'all want a doctor visit and all that other stuff, y'all have to do what? Zoom. And so I'm like, and they had to get out of their comfort zone, come to a lot of cats that look young like y'all. Hey, show me how am I supposed to? And then y'all like, here you go. Go ahead. But the thing is this, understand that it's relevant. It's relevant. So you can't deny the fact that what the young people are into right now is relevant.
Okay.
With that being said, there has to be conversation.
Okay.
There has to be communication, and not this one way of talking, not this one-sided conversation, but a conversation that says, okay, how can we become true support to each other? From the Gen Zs, I don't know. It's a lot of. Is the Gen Z the latest one? I'm
honestly, I don't even know.
Okay, so I'm glad. I thought I was gonna be the only one today. Yeah. So let's start from the Gen Zs. If it's something any different, then y'all can correct me. What's going on, E? Gen Zs to the millennials, to the Generation X, to the baby boomers. There has to be a level if we want to make things change. And here's the other thing. I'm going to come cold against the whole idea that we'll never come together. You have people who says that out of their mouth.
Okay.
Oh, the black community ain't going to, they ain't going to never, or, it's been this way. They ain't going to never come together, or the youth, they ain't going to never.
No, you hit a trigger for me, sir. I'm not going to hold you. This is the first trigger. It's about influence. It takes somebody with the influence,
right,
to be the force to unite. And
That's
what
right.
happens is that we get caught up in only trying to influence a certain set of people,
right?
That we're not willing to cross bridges, have conversation, agree to disagree, to get that full force to work together to execute the goal. It's gonna take influence. It's gonna take individuals who are willing to. All right, we don't agree on everything, but we can walk together.
Right.
Because the majority of what we're doing is heading in the right direction. I said him earlier, and one person can't service everybody.
Can't
do it.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
And like you said, that's the absolute truth. People who are influencers, they're going to have to be willing to sacrifice.
Valid.
It's not gonna be popular for you all the time.
Yeah.
It's going to take, you know what I'm saying? And what do I say all the time on my Facebook page now? My life is what?
Great.
My life is great, right?
Okay.
Reason why I say that is because I understand the power of my tongue.
Yeah.
Right? I understand that I can speak things into the existence, atmosphere, the universe, whatever we want to call it. I can speak things into that, and I can speak things in futuristic space where I'll end up walking into it and not even knowing that was something that I spoke in existence long time ago. So a lot of people who continuously stay broke, but every time you hear them, man, every time I get a check, I gotta go to bills. I can't never stay ahead. I can never not. You speak that stuff, and then you begin to just become that you speak. That's inside of you. From the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, right?
Right.
So for me, I'm like, I have to speak. Yo, my life is great, regardless of what I go through.
I didn't mean to cut you
off. No. You good, money?
You even speak like that, depending on, like, based on, no matter how you feel, you speak like that.
Yes.
That's what's up.
Yo, in times when I'm stressed, in times when my bank account ain't looking what when I'm not feeling so good, whether I'm sick or whether I'm just tired or whether I'm just kind of overwhelmed, regardless of city hall, people, disappointments, sometimes my disappointment that's caused by my expectation of people. Even in the midst of all that, I make it a clear declaration to say that my life is great. Because what happens is you begin to like break through some things. You begin to break through barriers. Mental barriers, spiritual barriers, a lot of things that you don't even understand is there. Because what happens is I'm a decree and I'm gonna make a declaration that my life is great regardless. If I go to my kids today, both of them, and I say Dahlia and Dylan, no matter what, they're like, my life is great. Now they ain't gonna have the enthusiasm that I may have. But however, it's like they understand. I'm trying to build that within them to get them to understand that. You know what I'm saying? Because what's gonna happen is it's gonna show you that I may not be I may not be content, but I'm appreciative. I may not be just satisfied with where I'm at, but I'm thankful for what I do have. And then when we do that, I feel like it opens up room for more. So I digress because I kind of went off a little bit. What I was saying is from how we speak. If we keep saying, "Oh, we ain't gonna never come together," those words mean something, and that becomes a culture, and somebody else picks that up and say, "Yeah, because we ain't doing this for, we ain't gonna never." That stuff means something.
It becomes like a language,
right? A whole language, and that language becomes a culture, and that culture becomes a reality. So for me, I'm like, yo, we gotta come together. We don't got no choice. We don't got if we want change, and that's another thing. I'm all set. Let me flip this over to myself. I said this a while ago. I'm gonna say it again. For those who need change, should be willing to lead the change. Make it really clear. I'm just making that abundantly clear. I'm gonna go to some of these because I see there's some. Tika said I told my 7-year-old grandson stay in a child's place, and he told me he didn't know where a child's place was. Right. Hold on, we got another one. Let's see here. That's good. I like that. Good morning, Aaron. Hey, my Bree. All right, let's see here.
Belinda said, good old rotary phones in the kitchen with a long cord.
Right, with the long one. Carried around the whole house.
She also said, filled with vocational information and trainers, speakers, and resources. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And that's something that even I want to do here for our 716 radio is I got this event space. It's like building it up to have resources come in. Because some of your kids' places is unknown,
right?
Because your kid places outside now doing other stuff, and now you want to. Then I'm gonna say this and be this person. You tell them to stay in the child's place, and I get it with the respect of certain conversations,
right?
But you have now distanced them so much now that they can't see what's available to them,
right?
Because you're not showing them, you're not teaching them, or you're not letting them know. Listen, you might be interested in this vocation or this idea. I feel like some of our children haven't been exposed.
Right.
What kid has been exposed to mechanics to even know that I want to be a mechanic?
Right.
Who's been exposed to do plumbing? You might fall in love with 4-lane. You might enjoy media, but if you haven't been exposed to it, you've been
you don't know. You don't know the options. You don't know what other alternatives you have.
Absolutely. And we go through figuring it out.
Right. And then what happens is when, a lot of times, again, when you leave in a lot of these youth to their own devices, they're going to find themselves doing something in many cases that they don't have any business doing.
And because their own devices now is worldwide.
Right.
It's different. It is different from before where, like you were saying, we got to go outside where the bike's at. Now,
right.
They can go anywhere. My son is 2, and he went from his little kid YouTube section and got him. Get back.
Right. Scooch on back, little man.
Because
scooch back.
It's just so much, and what 30 seconds can do to a mind is crazy.
Crazy image, like
yeah.
You ever like look at something and it's like stained into your mind?
Mm-hmm.
Like have you ever have like somebody said something and it's like just there? Like you'll always remember. Maybe it hit you a certain way where you don't know how to process it. So it always kind of replays. Like years down the line, it'll replay, and then years down the line. So it's like even as a kid,
bro,
there's certain things you'll see, and you be like, and it just sits in your mind,
etched in your mind for a long, for the long term.
And that's why you got to watch what you say,
right?
Because you never know for your child or whoever. One statement, altered my whole mindset. Right. And I didn't realize it at the time, but when I go back, I just keep certain smells, certain things, just reminisce this one moment all the time. And that was like we call it in the Bible the law of first mention. And that law of first mention is what caters your thought process. So if you're talking about your life is miserable and it's terrible and you can't, that's life. That's what it's supposed to be. This has been my norm.
And that's what you begin to form. That's what you begin to shape.
Yeah.
Darlene said kids are more knowledgeable about things that's happening in the world today. What they really need is hope. Because a lot of times they do feel like they lost hope. Adia, she said, I think one major problem is that our generations and above don't want to evolve. True in many cases.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I can't say that's true because it's like
go ahead.
Don't want to evolve. We are evolving as a people, like as a as humans, we're evolving. The world is evolving, how it's evolving based on influence. And obviously if you read the Bible, the last days is kind of supposed to be hectic.
Right.
So I feel like it's all evolving based off of how it's supposed to be.
Right.
I'm not saying exactly what she's saying is wrong.
I think when I'm to paint because what I do get what she's saying is some people don't want to accept the evolution that's taking place. I'm talking about from the elderly, from what I got, I'm gonna keep it 100. From what I got, elderly is all like, we need to go back to the old way. That's all I kept hearing as a youth. Way back to the old, but what what the old way was? What was comfortable for them.
Right. But you know what's crazy? And the world is doing exactly what it's supposed to do.
Right.
And I'm gonna say this to the people because what they call the old way was wow for the
people before them.
Right. Like this is nothing. There's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
Meaning that the next generation will always seem to be outlandish compared to the last generation.
Right.
That's what we've been evolving. So what was wild for you, because your mom and them was at the Freaknik.
Come on now.
Wait a minute. Now they grew out of it and they better. And now the children ain't wearing no clothes.
Right.
They're doing this is nothing new. But what it is that people sometimes have to understand that the Bible says, I call the young because they're strong.
Mm-hmm.
I got the old because they know the way.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all supposed to have this bridge of connection that, guess what? No, baby, I don't agree with everything. But my disagreement doesn't cause contentment.
Right.
It doesn't cause me to bash you. I don't understand that. That's beyond me.
Right.
But I'm open to let you go ahead and do you, because I've learned certain things. I built the building. I got the houses here. It's your job to maintain it now.
Mm-hmm.
I used to cut grass and do this, but now I got AI out here writing papers. Who
Right,
knows?
right.
But so things are evolving, and I think that sometimes we fight because we want the old folks to be young and the young folks to be old. And that's not how this story goes. I'm gonna say this, and I don't want to cancel your show, but I'm gonna talk about it because you get hit a trigger.
Speak it.
I respect the LBGTQA plus 2 situation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with the lifestyle, but I
Right.
can respect it.
Right.
So as I develop, I'm going to teach my children to respect it.
Right.
And what's going to happen is they're going to be open to the decision. If they want to join it, be a part of it, because life is real.
Right.
That's theirs. But don't bash me, destroy me, because I don't agree with the totality of the way that you choose to live your lifestyle.
Right.
My views are different. And it's okay. And yours is different, and it's okay. But guess what? We can go where we're going together. We can still walk and handle some things and disagree where we disagree. But that's not only in that lifestyle, that's in all things, even community. Just because I'm a little bit more ghetto, a little bit more hood than you, don't mean I'm not qualified to handle certain things. Right. But if I can take the disagreements that we have and put them on the side and take what we agree about for the city of Niagara Falls, what we want to do for business and building and evolving, dismiss these politics sometimes and really get a hold on to what we want to do. We can do this thing together and it can be different. The east side ain't the west side.
Right.
The west side ain't LaSalle.
Right.
We are different, but we want a better city. So let's do what it takes to make the city as a whole unit better. Yeah, everybody want to make everybody be signed to their own personal agenda or goal or idea, and my God is too big.
Right.
His mind, we can't comprehend the totality of who I'm preaching now. I might get off your microphone. The totality of who he is, to try to confine him to just one box, one way, and one way of doing things. God is my source. Jesus is the way. That's what it is. But I understand that you may not agree with that, but you still want a better city, though. Yeah. We still want to have resources. Right. So let's take our disagreement.
So beyond all that, put it off to the side.
And let's go ahead and work together. Because the Bible says, how can you walk together as one agree? We got agreements.
We got plenty of
we got more agreements than
most of us. I would go as far as to say most of us that's in the city have more agreements in regards to our city. Because overall, real talk, we want a better, thriving city.
Absolutely.
You know, this is the thing. We have everything we need.
Here. We have it here. You know what has to happen?
We just got to get
the program. We have to activate it. Yes. The only way we can activate it is there has to be what? Conversation. Honestly, like you said, east side ain't the west side, ain't the north side, ain't downtown, ain't DeVoe, and ain't LaSalle and Cayuga Island. True story is this. Only way that I'm going to find that, how can I find out what it is that you need if you don't tell me?
You don't tell me.
So how do you think making conversation is? How do you think you as a person can connect with everybody and make them think one way?
Well, no, because I never want everybody to think one way.
Not one way, but like put their differences aside for the bigger picture.
I don't know if you caught the end of the last joint that we did. One of the biggest things for me personally, I'm gonna put the camera back on me real quick so they can see my mouth. Okay. One of the things personally for me is that there is a break or a gap in communication.
Definitely.
With that being said, I said this a long time ago because it's true. I was, when I campaigned in 2019, I was asking young and old people the same thing because I'm a heavy believer of communication. Okay. And I asked, I said, what is your relationship and like in regards to like engaging, talking to the young people, engaging like the older population? and most of their answers in most cases they don't want to listen to us. They don't want to hear what we got. We got good ideas.
The older population.
The older population don't want to hear it. So I'm talking to a younger.
Okay.
And they're saying the older population, they don't want to hear us.
My bad, I did it again.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
What I feel like even growing up, I feel like your generation is like hard working. You know what I mean? Like I was always told you, just get a job. Yeah, I like to do entrepreneurial things. I do not like working, man.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm wasting my time. I feel like yo, I already know how much I'm gonna make at the end of the week. That's messed up if I know I can do more. I don't even know who I am yet.
Right.
So why am I gonna sit here and work for you
and make you rich or make you?
And you found out who you were a long time ago. I mean, God used you for His purpose. He needed to use you for it. So why am I gonna keep working for you and not know what my purpose is?
Right.
So, but like all the time, every time I would try to do something entrepreneurial, like my older people's, they always tell me, "Nah, just work, man. Keep going to work. You need a job. You need to keep doing this." Well, I'm still making money, but it's like it's not safe money, you know.
Right.
So I feel like a lot of the time they stuck on that. You know what I mean? Keep going to work. Keep working hard. Just do this. Go to school. And all the time, school is not even the answer. You never know what God has planned for you. You know what I mean? So
no, and that's the truth. No, that's the absolute truth. When it comes down to, for me, how do I feel that would take place? It'd have to be for me. And if anybody that can feel like can give another way to look at it, then I'm open to it. But for me, I call it the listening session.
Okay.
It's where we're in a space, a decent space. And in that space, there are older and there are younger. And not to segregate, but separate just for a moment.
Okay.
On each side, what happens is of the young people actually express respectfully but truthfully the stuff that's gonna hurt. Keep it a buck. Definitely. Don't hold back. Show that generation where maybe I felt like we were failed by y'all, right?
Okay.
And it's okay. And instead of them giving a response or a rebuttal, we go home. We go home, we take that information, we sit with it, we digest it. Because y'all worth more than that minute and 15 seconds of thought process to give you something back to what you just told me. Right. I need to understand really from a pure place and really digest what you just said so I can really so I'm not reacting. I'm responding to you. Okay. So now I go back. I'm writing down notes. Take notes. Yeah. Here, this is what these young people said. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, wow. Okay, I can see that. Maybe I can be of help. And where
you fit in.
Right. And I didn't see it that way because I don't live their life. So now they were able to talk to me and actually express to me what it is. Yep. And so now from my space, from my knowledge and from whatever wisdom that I've gathered along the way, I can come back. So stage 2, you come back, same space. The older generation says, hey, looks at the young people. We noticed you said A, B, and C, D. Now we're showing you that we listen because now we can bring back to you what you told us. Here's how I can possibly, maybe on our end, maybe we can kind of like help assist you in thus, and thus. And maybe this, like our relationship, we can kind of build that type of whatever. I'm not going to like navigate what it is. I want the young people to say what it is, and I want the elders to respond in how they can. I don't need to tell them how they should help y'all, and I don't need to tell y'all what's wrong or whatever the case is. But then watch this. So in that same stage, they come back. The elders express the same kind of feel to the young. Yo, this is how I feel. We feel the A, B, and C. Maybe we felt failed by y'all in this way. Don't get mad because I want y'all to have the same energy. You know what I'm saying? Don't hold back either. Tell the truth. Respectfully, though. And at the end, what happens is y'all don't respond. We go back home because it's a 3-part session. Go back home. Y'all sit with it. Like, oh shoot, I didn't know that, because that's what's gonna happen. I didn't know that. Like, oh man, okay. Well, let's see. But they did come back and at least try to come up with a solution. Maybe if we can do so now, y'all come back and y'all give the very final session, which that session turns into a culture.
Okay.
It becomes almost somewhat of a lifestyle. Belinda, you said, I'm trying to remember, you said something last week that turns into, I put it down here. I know you said it. But once that happens, and both parties, both sides express exactly how they feel,
okay,
what happens is now we've broken the barrier of communication.
Right.
Nobody has no excuse anymore.
Right.
I know how you feel. You know how I feel.
Communication is crazy, yo.
And it's crucial.
It's so important, man. Yo, like it don't matter who you are, man. If you can speak up and use your voice, you can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Because it's like a lot of people are nervous to use their voice because it's like, I don't know why, honestly, but that's just a thing for us. So it's like, even you ever been in a household with somebody and y'all not getting along and y'all just choose to have this nonchalant way of dealing with it. Like, I'm just not going to talk to him right now. I'm just gonna do me. That doesn't really solve the problem. You always hold it with you.
It makes it worse.
And I feel like that's how the generations kind of are, because it's like, you know, it's like a nonchalant way of, yeah, you know, that's he's the older guy, you know, that's, you know, we're not really expressing ourselves, though. We can dap each other up, but we're not really expressing ourselves. You know what I mean? Give each other the real us.
And
what's really going on.
And what you've done is you've created a false narrative.
Right.
And then everything that person does, you equate it to a situation that's not. But because so this sounds crazy, but we do it. So we don't talk. We got beef. We ain't talking. We have one problem. Everything that you do, you didn't talk to me. You walked past me. Is now equated to this problem that we ain't talked about.
Yeah.
So now here we are, 20 years, not communicating effectively. Recreating this conversation of a problem. We like, if we just had communicated, it wasn't even that serious.
Right.
I have moved past it, but because we haven't been talking, haven't been communicating, we have these barriers and this level of issues between us. It's like you assume I'm not going to listen, but I'm down to listen.
Right.
You assume I'm not going to take heed to the exchange because we created this narrative because of the lack of communication. So that was the problem.
It's huge. I feel like we gotta speak to each other, but we gotta speak to each other respectfully.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, yo, people are their best when they're allowed to be who they're allowed to be. So it's like, if me and you get into a disagreement, but we lay it in the most respectful way, we lay it all out. It's like, you're gonna walk away no matter how you feel about that situation. You're gonna walk away feeling stronger and more just, I don't know what the word I'm like that's a word I'm looking for. I can't really find it, but like, you're basically gonna feel better about yourself.
Right. Empowered. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the thing. That's why communication is huge. Like, and like you said, Frank, I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said, because something small, or I ain't gonna say something small, but a situation that may take place that causes you to have friction with somebody, all of a sudden, like you said, you breathe the right way. Oh, this dude breathed on me. He's trying to disrespect me. But that's so. What happens is when we lack that type of communication, that's why for me the listening summit is huge, and it's been on my heart for some years now. I have to hop on it now, because the listening summit, like I was just talking about, the room, that kind of communication, because we have to break that barrier. We have to break the barrier between, so we can all know, because guess what? When you held accountable for what you know. Some people practice willful ignorance. Some people want I know, I got you. Willful ignorance. You want to be ignorant. You don't want to really know what the truth is, because of the simple fact is we suffer from that, man. Yeah. Culture. Yeah, right. So my thing is because if I don't know, I don't have to be accountable for it. So for me, what this does is it cuts out a lot of confusion. It cuts out, and then it brings clarity. And then you have, now I'm accountable. It's now I gotta. This is my word. I stood up and said this.
Yeah.
So, and for me, and I want to make it all on record, because we're gonna always be able to go back to it. and say, hey, as leaders, young and old, you said, and this is what you committed to.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's how I've been. That's how I am in City Hall. I try to make sure that everything I say is on record. That's why I don't go to special meetings, because they don't be recording it. I want it on record because I want you to go back to the tape and say, yo, he did say this. So at the end of the day, it brings a level of we have to be hold ourselves accountable. But then it breaks that barrier. And then it's like, I thank you, Belinda. She said that becomes a workshop with action items afterwards. Once we're done with that, we've broken the barrier. Now it's like, okay, now it's not something that stops. It's something that, like, you have to, we understand that we hear we've gone farther than just hearing each other, because hearing and listening is way two different things. I can hear you all day, but if I'm not listening to you, it's in one ear and out the other. If I can hear you to give you a rebuttal, I can not actively, that's being an inactive listener. I'm just hearing you, just so I can tell you what I think should be. When I'm listening to you, I'm actually taking in this information. I'm receiving it and I'm digesting it, and then we can have that kind of communication. I can go on. That's I'm a kind of slow it back, because I know we're getting on that other side. It's 12 o'clock now. Listen, one of the biggest things that I especially when it comes down to that listening summit, is I wanted to create a culture of us having a better understanding of each other as a people as well. It's a lot of things. I had talked about that before, as to like how we even relate to like men.
Valid. Men,
I'm gonna keep it 100, and I'm talking about from whence I grew up. The culture was really, you better not cry. What you doing crying? Man up. You hear that a lot. You still hear it today. I shouldn't have a problem coming to you, Elijah, and be like, yo, bro, man, you remember what you had said the other day, man? That kind of hurt my feelings.
Right.
Because we were made to think that we didn't have feelings as men. As if women are the emotion. We got just as many emotions within us than women.
It's okay to cry.
It's very okay to cry.
Right.
And what happens is that we haven't had the outlet of where we can actually unpack it, because we had this expectation placed on us that we had to be the strong, can't cry, don't have no feelings, man up. What you talking about? Your feelings hurt. Man, you don't be acting like a little punk. We have that. And then we ask ourselves, how can a man shoot another man and go have a bologna sandwich right after he do it? Because what happens is we lost our ability to feel. We've lost our ability to engage, or lost our ability to show remorse, these, or like that level of what's the word? Because it's right at the tip of my tongue.
Empathy.
What's that?
Empathy.
Well, empathy. I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's the when if a dog see another dog, if the dog ears go up, if they tail wagging, attention. Social communication. The social. So we've lost that ability because we don't know. We looking at each other like, you on that time?
Every time you go outside, man, we go outside going on the street right now. It's gonna be like that. Don't look at nobody in the eyes, man. Don't look too long, because they're gonna ask you what's going on.
What's up?
They're gonna check your temperature. They're gonna see what you want.
That's a real.
So I definitely get what you're saying, man.
So I think because we've lost that social emotional connection, we've lost that. So I mean, and so that's a whole nother show. But I'm definitely go ahead. No, I feel you. Go ahead. No, but so what happens is, when we lose that type of thing. So if we start talking, just having conversation, just connecting, and just really kind of like getting to know who we are, getting to love our brother. It's okay to say, yo, Elijah, man, I love you, bro. And nothing wrong with that. But it's been culturally, it has been unapproved,
soft, man.
So yeah, you saw, yeah. It's like, man, come on.
So let me ask you though, right?
Go ahead.
Man, I've been here. I've been just taking everything in. So what do you think we should do as a community to really, like, I see you said, just talking and listening, but I feel like there's more to it.
Oh, it's action,
right?
Yeah.
But like, all right, so you see Niagara Falls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, it sucks being here. Like, I don't even try to be around. I try to leave as much as I can. Because every time you hear it, it's sad, yo. It's sad to see. It's sad to see us go out like that. It's sad to see us treat each other like that. So I want you to explain first, and then I'm gonna just give my take on it. But like, what do you think we could do right now to show better action, like right now? Because it's like, all right, I hear what you're saying. Like, we could speak and then listen, right? But it's like, what can we do as far as action? Like, yo, what can I, if I go outside right now, what can I go do that's going to make a change? You know what I mean? To help us succeed.
Cool. Absolutely. The change really begins in us first, each individual.
Okay.
Because you're not going to change a mass of anyone. I don't care if it's the same type of belief system. You're going to have segregation and separation. It's in the church. It's in the mosque. It's everywhere. Everyone is different. We all have different fingerprints for a reason. We all have different DNA. So no group of people are in a mass. So you really have to find out. The change starts within you. If you find out, okay, let me find out where I could grow. You know what I'm saying? And my growth in many cases come from just connecting, talking to somebody that may not do what I do. Being able to step outside of my own comfort zone. And so for me, you're almost forced to do it from my position. So I'm talking about me, but it's a different situation.
How are we going to get that to the community? How are we going to get them to like challenge themselves to change? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to find out what. No, this is true. You got to find out exactly what hits them in their front doorstep. Where is it going to affect you first? Because what happens, self-preservation is a real thing. You do know. Self-preservation, it's about, I got to protect me and mine, that type of thing. That's a real thing. In families and homes and everything else, right? So with that being the case, you have to find, a lot of times in order to really get people attention, you got to show them where what they're doing is so cancerous and how it's going to affect them in their front doorstep and make it immediate.
I feel like that's something we already know though. Yo, like one thing about people, bro, we're not dumb, right? Like you said, is willful ignorance. Right. We show a lot of that, but we're not dumb. Yo, I can go do the most wrongest thing. It's gonna make me feel good in the moment, but I know in my heart of hearts that it's wrong. I'm gonna always know that it's wrong. There's nothing like we're not. We can pretend to be ignorant, but we're not ignorant. Right. God gave us, intellectual.
Because what you're talking about is a mindset. Because I'm using relationships for example. Certain people get in relationships knowing that they're toxic because they're accustomed to toxic. I know that this relationship is going to end, so I'll get in it because I can expect the outcome. When you start talking to me about changing my mind to get a different outcome, it's unknown to me. I don't know I hear you talking. It sounds great, but I'm not accustomed. I don't know what it means to live outside of paycheck to paycheck. Right. For you to tell me, and you gave me opportunity that caused me to have risky money, that I can live beyond my means, beyond paycheck to paycheck, I'm iffy about it because I'm not accustomed to what you're talking about. So when you start talking to a community, it's individual. You got to be the evidence of what you're talking about. Okay. So if I'm telling you that, I said today, bridge the gap and be all this, that means that I can be right here at 3019 Niagara Street. I can go over to the School of Thought, talk to them. I can go to LaSalle, have a conversation with them. I can go to Lewiston and have a conversation with them. I can hit these DeVoe and talk to all these people and have influence in all these areas. And then when I go to have the event or have a situation, I pull everybody. Right. But I am evidence that you can build here. I'm evidence that you can establish here. I'm evidence that you can grow here. And I think some of the challenges we have that people aren't being the evidence that they're talking about. Right. We talking, I never forget, and I didn't call his name out, I'll be respectful. Somebody was on the phone line one time and we was here and we were talking about all the ideas to do. And I opened my mouth and I told him exactly what to do, but it still hasn't been done. We're yelling about the transformation that we want, and we're trying to talk like you said. What we need is here. It's not always promoted to access to it,
right?
Because I'm why I ain't got a grant yet. Help us, Jehovah. Right. But what it is that there are resources here, maybe not advertised to us, not promoted where we at, but somebody has it. But when I present it to you, I need to show you, no, I benefit off of this.
Right.
I am living proof that you can have a business. We are proof that we can have an example of being successful. Not only here, you got Michelle, we got Brody's, we have people doing things. Right. But those people have to be willing to go out and speak and talk and like, listen, I'm evidence that you can.
For real. Right. Another thing, something I realized is like, yo, entrepreneurs, a lot of them are quiet. Yo, they got their head down, they're working, they keep working. And then people like me, I'm a butt in though. I'm like, valid. Right. And I heard something he was saying, talking about his businesses. Right. I want to know now. You know what I mean? Right. I feel like, but it's easier for other people because other people, they don't even know where to start to ask questions. Yeah. So, but me, I kind of like train myself up to know, all right, where to start. But if you just reach out more entrepreneurs, more business owners, just reach out more and be willing to talk. You know what I mean? Right. And show them how they can do it. Instead of just being so quiet about it, I feel like that can.
Because there's room for all of us out here to eat. Honestly, and just like you said, sometimes you do get into that zone, and I think sometimes people are a little nervous about. It becomes that it's a good competition that you can have. Yes, the bad competition is the competition of let me hoard it to myself so I don't allow no one else. Absolutely. I wanna, you know what I'm saying? What it is that you do, again, you have to be an example. You have to what. He's making it tangible. He's showing you that it's tangible. Yeah. I think that's the thing that's different. That's what's going to help make things. If I tell you, yo, y'all need to be about this bag, but I'm broke. Are you gonna pay me any mind? If every time I'm talking, I can have a good talk. I can have a TED Talk type joint. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you about this bag and securing the bag and so on and so forth. But then every time, but when you see me, where's the money? Wait, can I borrow $5? Right. Man, I'm tore up.
And I think I want to be clear. It's not about flexing or pretending, but it's about being the people that you be seeing online and TikTok and all this stuff who like. It's a matter. You don't know that process to get there. Right. And I think that sometimes we don't understand the process. We want the end result. And I got it. But before I got the bag, I was living out the bag.
You right. And and you understand. And see what happens is you'll be able to, because it's a wealth of knowledge. Yes. And so there's not an easy fix. There's not a quick answer. There's not really you should do this and and then this is gonna happen. What's going to take the same way it took for you when you first picked up a first pair of clippers, you probably gashed your head or another head, or I've done it, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you've understood after a while that a certain way I hold the clipper, certain way I, close and open my blade, which guard I need to use and all of that other stuff, all the fade and the lines and so on and so forth. But once you kept going, but it was a process. So you can't go and show, preach to people about my now. You got to know what that process looked like, because then they have to be willing to go through the process. And some people just aren't. I'm just keeping 100. Some people are not ready for the process because the process is a little harder than normal. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's real.
So like one thing, like when I wanted to do this podcast with you, I wanted to speak from like from what I feel, right? I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing sometimes, but I know like what the truth is, right? So like that's why I keep asking you about what can we do as a community. I feel like we got to start challenging each other to be better. Right. I know this is kind of like off topic.
No, it's on topic. That's all. That's good.
I feel like we should challenge each other to be better. Right? I feel like my generation, we definitely have to come out of that rapper lifestyle. Everybody wants to be, you know what I realized? We're all almost broke. We're not broke. Right. Everybody who acts like they got a lot of money, like when you really get, into like a close partnership with them, you realize, we all just trying to get the money. So why are we pretending that we're like these big tough dudes, man? Like I got all this money. I'm this person that you like. I'm just gonna show you all this this extravagance. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
it's like I feel
Shiny,
like we
real
gotta
shiny.
humble ourselves and just challenge each other to be great men.
Right.
Of like, yo, I can be however I want to be as long as I got money, or I could be however I want to be as long as everybody agrees with me. And I'm popping on Facebook, I'm popping on Instagram, I'm running through the streets with whatever car. So I feel like we should challenge each other to be better men as young men, yo, because it's like you only get one life.
Right.
How am I gonna live it in this way that we're living it that doesn't even make sense? It really doesn't make sense at the end of the day. So I feel like we should do that. I feel like a lot of us, we gotta like stop trying to be the face of whatever is going on. That's why, like, yo, like I respect everybody. I just don't agree with a lot of people. A lot of people in Niagara Falls, it's like, yo, it's fake. You know what I mean? It's like fake movements out here. It's fake knowledge out here. It's like, yo, it's all self gain. You know what I mean? Like, yo, we need to come together as an actual people. You know, like put that work in together, and then be the movement. Because it's like, if we can all come together now and do what we got to do now, we're gonna represent. Like our city's gonna be represented better later on down the line.
Right.
So we know we planted the seeds early on for that, instead of like one person trying to be this person. You know what I mean? Or,
right.
You know what I mean? So another thing I think we need to do. I think the east side and the west side, the people who develop all that tension, I think they need to come together and just squash it however they need to squash it in the proper way, instead of, because I notice a lot of times people aren't as tough as they make it seem they are.
Right.
And they put on this persona on Facebook and on social media to be this tough person, and other people follow in those footsteps, and they get hurt for that.
Right.
Because there's a lot of young kids, yo. I used to be in a lot of nonsense in Niagara Falls. If any young people know me, I used to be in a lot of nonsense in Niagara Falls. But I realized I'm now a Niagara Falls peacemaker, and I go and I stop, you know what I mean, stuff from happening. And I'm realizing a lot of these kids are following after what we did, but it's like, and it's a lot of people that still my age still encouraging the nonsense.
Right.
These kids, like, yo, these kids, like, just the other day, it was like a whole fight that I tried to break up. And I'm like, yo, these kids don't even know where it really started from.
Right.
And now they're following my peoples. They're following people like me into that nonsense. But people like me ain't even trying to solve the nonsense.
Right.
So it's like you got this 16-year-old kid out here risking his life. Don't even know what he's talking about. He's just following after somebody 21, 22 years old done talked about. So it's like, I feel like that's why I said we need to challenge each other to be better men and come together and handle our situations. Because, like, yo,
you got a minute down there.
Okay.
Well, you know, no, that's good stuff. That's good. No, we're gonna have to come back and chop it up and do a completion.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. Because no, real talk. This is it's a lot of replies. So I'm definitely gonna be on. We'll be on, and y'all can hop on the page as well now, and on Fire 716 because they've been chopping it up on there as well. Yo, it's good stuff, man.
Yes, sir.
It's good stuff, and I'm glad you came today. You're welcome back here. You already know, man. Real talk. It's just good to hear another perspective.
Yes, sir.
It's good to hear another perspective. So, folks, family, friends, we're gonna do this. This is gonna be, you know, I'm gonna have series. This is gonna be a series, and I'm gonna have more of y'all here. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to have some good dialogue. I want to have all these seats filled, and I want to make sure, and y'all can bounce ideas off of each other. But at the end of the day, we're done telling you guys what it is that we think you should do, or what should be fun for you, or what should be good, or you know what I'm saying. We need to find out what it is. Communication. That's at the top right there. That's at the top of my list right there. So, hey, thank you guys for coming through. I got to get ready to head on out. We out here. Fire 716. Make sure you go to the station, go to the radio, go to Fire 716 on Facebook. We on what's all our YouTube. We all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So again, I'd like to thank my man Elijah Davis, man. Appreciate you for coming through. Of course, we have my man Big Frank. Yes, sir. And it is yours truly. I'm gonna holler back at you, and we'll catch you again next week, same time, same place. Peace out.
716 Radio, blazing the trails of R&B,
And I feel like sometimes
hip hop, Afro,
If you want make a ginger, give me
Kingdom Love Outreach Ministry presents Where Are Thy Kingsmen? Men of Valor, Saturday, June 24th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at 1800 Clinton Street in the city of Buffalo, New York. The visionary evangelist Angela Miller. Hosted by Pastor Bertha Brinson. Worship psalmist Nia Badger. Speakers Pastor Alan R. Core, Elder Frank Hanley, and Minister Malik Fuller. Tickets are $30. Food, gifts, prizes. For more information, contact 716-609-5988.
Today's teenager is tomorrow's potential regular customer. That's what the tobacco industry said about us. But what does it say about them? That they'll do anything to recruit new smokers. Like using menthol flavors to make products smoother and better tasting, so they're easier to start and harder to quit. In other words, menthol is not just a flavor. It's a way for big tobacco to attract and addict us. And there's not.
What's up, everybody? It's Kier here, Inject Faith Hope Love. I am so excited to announce that you can now catch me right here on Fire 716 Radio each and every Monday for Inject Mondays at 7 p.m. So go ahead and download the app and rock out with your girl. Again, that's each and every Monday at 7 p.m. Tune in and have a good time with us.